Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from yourblackworld.com. Uh, I was sitting up late at night. It's about 3:30 in the morning. I'm actually up late because I just got back from Europe and I'm still on European time, so I wake up at these strange hours. But anyway, I was thinking about something that I saw in the media recently about a woman. I want to say her name is Toni Medrano. She was a mother who drank a fifth of vodka and fell asleep on top of her new baby and ended up killing the baby. And Nancy Grace, as she does, she kind of jumped on the situation, which they kind of do this for ratings and whatnot, and referred to Madrano as Vodka Mom, and kind of ridiculed her for what she did to her child. And obviously, what she did to her baby was clearly unacceptable. But later on, Madrano ended up killing herself, probably as a result of that pressure that comes from suddenly becoming one of the most maligned people in all of America. I don't think a lot of people know the kind of pressure you might feel if you're not used to being featured on national television. I just remember when they talked about me for a week on the O'Reilly Factor. How many calls I got and how many emails I got and how many people were staring at you in the grocery store and stuff like that. And it didn't bother me because I'm used to that, but I can understand people who aren't used to that. It could really drive you nuts if you're not prepared to deal with it. But anyway, I think that I'm actually a little bit irritated with Nancy over this. Nancy Grace has always kind of gotten on my nerves a little bit. I just hate her little whiny voice. And you know that there's no reason for you to ever do what you just did. I don't even know why she has a show, but that's neither here nor there. But I really think that when you look at this woman's decision and you look at her life, obviously she had a drinking problem. Also, I can't imagine any mother taking any form of satisfaction after killing her baby. The woman was probably already in extreme emotional distress over what she did. Extreme guilt. And anybody who has an addiction to alcohol or drugs, in many cases, it's like they're two different people. They look at what they did while they were under the influence, and they sometimes can hate themselves for what they did. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I always tell people, especially young black males, stay away from drugs and alcohol, because it will make you do things that you will seriously regret later on. I know a guy who used to drink a lot and come home drunk, and he ended up doing some stuff when he was drunk that he wouldn't have done sober. He ended up sleeping with his girlfriend's teenage daughter, or not sleeping with her, but touching her or whatever the case may be. And he ended up getting, I want to say, 4 or 5 life sentences in prison. And I'm not going to sit here and say that this guy was somebody who normally would have engaged in criminal behavior had he not been sober. So I think that there's that clear lesson that alcohol and drugs are just no good. I don't drink, I don't use drugs, and a lot of that is because I don't want to wake up and find out that I did something under the influence that I end up regretting. And I think that in our society, I think that we take drugs and alcohol too lightly, especially alcohol. There was a study that actually showed that alcohol is the most dangerous drug in society. More dangerous than crack, more dangerous than heroin, all those things. And the reason is because it is so pervasive and taken so lightly that it leads to widespread tragedy. I mean, we know that you should say no to crack, but nobody really says say no to alcohol. But I'm saying it. I say, especially when I talk to young kids at Syracuse, where they come to campus and they just think that everybody's supposed to drink until they throw up every weekend. I tell them, no, that's not smart. There's too much death that occurs under the influence of alcohol. Too many date rapes that occur under the influence of alcohol. Too much violence that occurs under the influence of alcohol. And the worst thing you can have happen to you is to be a 22-year-old kid who kills your best friend in a drunk driving accident because you thought you were just out having fun. But going back to this mother and what she did, I want to say that I am ashamed. I am ashamed of what Nancy Grace did in terms of pushing this mother over the edge. I think she should be ashamed of herself, and I wouldn't even be surprised if the woman's family decides to file a lawsuit against Nancy over this, because this is not cool. And now maybe the lawsuit might be a stretch, but I'd be upset. I'd be really upset because it's one thing for her to deal with the consequences of what she did. She has to go to court. She's going to have to deal with the guilt for the rest of her life. She should be forced to get counseling. But to ridicule this woman to the point where she decides to kill herself, I don't think that's our job to do. So if you want my 2 cents on it, I say shame on you, Nancy Grace. You need to slow your roll. The ratings are not so valuable that you can ruin people's lives in that way. And you have to understand the power of your platform, when it comes to attacking people like that. I just think it's entirely unacceptable that she pushed this woman to that point, especially by ridiculing her and calling her vodka mom. You could report on the story without ridiculing this woman and making fun of her and labeling her in this derogatory way. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from yourblackworld.com. Please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel or to our website. Also, I have a radio show with Ed Gordon. I want to talk about the show more. It's in DC and in Detroit, and in DC we come on WHUR on Saturdays, and in Detroit we come on Mix 92.3 on Sundays from 12 to 2. So check us out. Anyway, take care, and I'm gone, and have a wonderful day. Peace.